Welcome everyone to this week's PDH Deck Tech. I'm Joseph, and this week we're foraying into Jund, giving us the colors of black, red, and green. Our commander today is the recently released Mr. Orfeo the Boulder. Mr. Orfeo the Boulder is a 2/4 Rhino Warrior for 1 black, red, green that has, whenever you attack, double target creature's power until end of turn. This commander seems pretty straightforward. It loves power, it loves smashing, and wants us to love power smashing too. That being said, this very simple ability has 3 key details I want to draw attention to. First, it's whenever we attack and target creature gets its power doubled. That means that Orfeo doesn't ever have to swing himself. Like a coach in football, he's just going to sit in the back and pump up his team to smash through our opponents. Second, that pump doubles the target creature's power. Not its base power, its total power at that moment, meaning we can play a few games with other pump effects to really get out of control. Third, that pump lasts until the end of our turn. Pretty standard language, but the fact that the pump has a little sticking power means we can use certain effects that will definitely take some sneaky advantage of it. First off, let's get some useful power on the board. One of the best to draw effects for a combat-heavy deck is going to be Monarch. We've got some great options with Crown Hunter Hireling and Entourage of Trest. Once the Crown is introduced to the game, it's going to stick around, and we're going to get the best use out of it. Another great option for card advantage is going to be Cascade. Stapled onto big creatures like Annoyed Altosaur and Boarding Party, we can easily get 2 high-powered creatures for the price of 1. Other creatures we control will love to be swinging. Stampeding Elk Herd will easily give all of our creatures trample. Another deer, Bellowing Elk, gains trample and indestructible. Another indestructible creature comes with Dreadworm, which triggers so long as we had just a land drop. Matching this worm, we have Greater Sandworm, which can swing straight through small blockers to get at our opponents. And if we draw it too early, we can always just cycle it to draw another card. Finally, we've got 2 more creatures that are excellent for swinging with Gloomsower and Hezrao, both of which will absolutely punish our opponents for blocking. Gloomsower will drain our opponents for 2 life for each creature they dare to block this with, and Hezrao will weaken all blocking creatures by -1/-1, potentially eliminating token creatures and certainly swinging the game when we start playing with trample effects. We're going to pump these creatures even further with some excellent combat tricks. Larger Than Life is a straightforward pump, giving a creature +4/+4 and trample for just 2 mana. Stolen Vitality is more flexible, giving an attacking creature +3/+1 and trample, or a defending creature +3/+1 and first strike. Sanguinate Backlash is an excellent Jund exclusive, allowing us to boost one of our creatures or weaken an enemy creature. And of course, I have to mention Temur Battle Rage, which gives our huge creatures double strike and trample. But combat tricks can be countered. We're going to circumvent this with channel abilities on Ironhoof Boar and Zertal Swine, which can give a creature a big boost on the cheap. Now, why am I going on about pump spells? Well, here's the thing. Orfeo's ability will see our creature's total power at the start of combat. Say we've got a 3/3, which we then play a +2 pump on. If we time that pump spell before combat, then we'll be doubling the power of a 5/5, meaning we'll get to swing in with a total power of 10. When we have a deck filled with creatures that already have 5 power, and pump spells that give +3 or even +5, we get to really go nuts. But we've got more than just a loose collection of powerful creatures and pump spells. We need to make sure this deck actually works together. 2 creatures that will care about this high power will be Crunch Wrangler and Ambitious Dragonborn, both of which will collect a huge amount of +1 counters. Once our creatures are big, we can use Beacon Behemoth and Mastodon to grant any attacking creature we want Vigilance or Trample for the low cost of 1 mana. Once our creatures are boosted, we can use fight effects like Ram Through or Fall of the Hammer to take out any opposing creatures we need, likely paying only 2 mana to deal 8 or more damage. We can also gain life off of our creature's power. Discerning Taste will let us get the best creature we need out of our library's top 4 cards, while Predator's Rapport will gain us a huge amount of life for just 3 mana. Even if our creatures are killed, we can still make use of them, using Dead Reckoning or Morgue Burst to deal plenty of damage to our opponents. And of course we've got our recursion cards like Death Denied and Font of Return. So, we've got our big creatures, and we're going to smash face over and over. It's pretty clear how we're going to win, but I'd like to just take a moment and point out some great cards that can really give us an edge. First, we have an excellent aura with Keldon Mantle, a Jund exclusive that can grant a creature trample, regenerate, or +1/+0 with just a single mana. And a perfect inclusion in this deck is Soul's Might. If we use this sorcery after we've used Orfeo's effect, then on the second turn, when we use the Orfeo double afterwards, we'll get a total of 6 times the creature's original power. Once we have our commander's effect though, we're going to swing and swing hard. All for the Guilds and Cosmotronic Wave are 2 perfect sorceries to make sure that we can punch directly at our opponents. And if we want to get really explosive, we can use cards such as Essence Harvest and Fling to throw our creature's power directly at an opponent. If we time it right, we can use all of these effects in a row to take out all of our opponents in a single explosive turn. And that's my Mr. Orfeo the Boulder deck. This card is overkill through and through. This deck gives us a multiplier effect in the command zone, which is always used for powerful, insane decks. Our opponents will be struggling with every creature we put on the board before we finally take them out. This deck is going to cost us about $12.50. The deck list is in the description. Please like and subscribe, and come back next week when we go to war with Mardu.